Every town has its secrets. In this town, it's the Blackwood Manor. Jean, a curious historian in her early 30s, pushes open the creaking front door. Dust particles dance in the dim light. She carries a flashlight and a backpack filled with research materials. Jean looks around the grand but decaying entryway. Her flashlight illuminates old portraits and dusty furniture. Jean sets up her equipment on a dusty table. She pulls out an old journal and begins to read. Jean, reading from the journal. October 12, 1894. The voices won't stop. They whisper my name, beckoning me to the basement. I fear I may lose my mind. As Jane reads, faint whispers begin to echo around the room. She looks up, unnerved. Jane walks down a dark hallway, her flashlight beam flickering. She sees a shadow move at the end of the corridor and freezes. Jane, who's there? No response. Jane cautiously moves forward, the floorboards creaking under her feet. Jane finds the basement door slightly ajar. She hesitates, then starts to descend the creaky wooden stairs. The air grows colder and heavier. The basement is filled with old furniture, broken toys, and cobwebs. Jane's flashlight flickers again, revealing an old locked chest in the corner. In the heart of the manor lies the source of its darkness, a secret hidden for over a century. Jane approaches the chest and tries to open it, but it's locked. Suddenly, a cold breeze rushes through the basement, extinguishing her flashlight. She's plunged into darkness. Jane fumbles with a match and lights a candle from her backpack. The flickering flame reveals ghostly figures surrounding her. Ghostly figures whispering, "Leave this place." Jean gasps and steps back, dropping the candle. The room goes dark again. Jean runs up from the basement and into the study, slamming the door behind her. She leans against it, trying to catch her breath. An old portrait of a stern-looking man catches her eye. Jean, reading from the journal. November 3, 1894. I can no longer bear the torment. I have locked away the source of my agony, hoping to contain the evil within. Jean realizes the man in the portrait is the same person who wrote the journal. She looks around the room for more clues and finds a key hidden inside a desk drawer. Jean, now determined, returns to the basement with the key. The ghostly figures reappear, but she ignores them, focused on the chest. She unlocks the chest and opens it, revealing old, cursed artifacts and a dusty diary. She opens the diary and reads. Jean, reading from the diary. The evil spirit attached to these objects must be contained. It feeds on fear and despair. As she reads, the ghostly figures become more agitated, their whispers turning into anguished cries. Jean gathers the cursed artifacts and, with a final look at the ghosts, sets them on fire. The flames cast eerie shadows on the walls as the ghosts scream and dissipate into the air. The house shakes, and the oppressive atmosphere lifts. Jane watches as the fire consumes the artifacts, breaking the curse. The storm has passed. The first light of dawn breaks over the horizon. Jean stands outside Blackwood Manor, looking back at the house. It's still old and decaying, but the malevolent presence is gone. Some places hold darkness within their walls. But with courage and determination, even the most haunted of houses can find peace. Jane walks away, the manor now a quiet, empty show. Willow Creek was a town like any other until the children started disappearing. Sheriff Carter, a weathered man in his 40s, sits at his desk, staring at a map with red pins marking the spots where children vanished. Deputy Maria, a young and determined officer, enters. Deputy Maria, Sheriff, another one's gone missing. Emily from Elm Street. Sheriff Carter sighs, frustration and worrying etched on his face. Sheriff Carter, that's the 5th this month. We need to find whoever's behind this. The town is eerily quiet. Parents hurriedly call their children inside. The camera follows a small figure, Jake, a 10-year-old boy, as he sneaks out of his house, flashlight in hand. Fear gripped the town, but curiosity drew young Jake into the darkness. Jake stands at the edge of the forest, his flashlight flickering. He hears a faint, melodic humming coming from deeper within the woods. He takes a deep breath and steps into the forest. The trees loom overhead, casting twisted shadows. Jake follows the humming, pushing through dense underbrush. Suddenly, he sees a figure in the distance, dressed in a dark, tattered cloak. Jake, who's there? The figure turns, revealing a pale, gaunt face. It's the Shadow Man, a sinister, otherworldly being with hollow eyes. Shadow Man, in a raspy whisper, come closer, child. Jake hesitates, but is compelled to move forward. The Shadow Man extends a bony hand, and as Jake reaches out, a scream pierces the night. Sheriff Carter and Deputy Maria hear the scream and rush out. Armed with flashlights and weapons, they run towards the forest. Deputy Maria, Jake, where are you? Suddenly, they hear the same melodic humming. They follow the sound, their breaths quickening with fear, to an old, decrepit cabin hidden deep in the woods. Inside, children huddle together, fear in their eyes. Jake is among them, looking around desperately. Jake, we need to get out of here. The Shadow Man appears, moving silently across the room. He reaches for another child, but Jake grabs a nearby stick and swings it at the Shadow Man. The stick passes through him like smoke. Shadow Man, you cannot escape, children. Sheriff Carter and Deputy Maria reach the cabin, hearing the children's cries from inside. They kick the door open, guns drawn. Sheriff Carter, let them go. The Shadow Man turns, his hollow eyes locking onto them. He moves with unnatural speed, disarming Deputy Maria and pinning Sheriff Carter against the wall. Shadow Man, this town is mine. The children are mine. Deputy Maria scrambles for her gun and fires at the Shadow Man. The bullets pass through him, but he recoils, giving Sheriff Carter a chance to push him away. Sheriff Carter grabs a lantern and smashes it on the ground, setting the cabin ablaze. The children scream, but he and Deputy Maria quickly guide them out. Jake, the fire, it's hurting him. The Shadow Man rises in the flames, his form flickering like a shadow in the wind. Sheriff Carter, Deputy Maria, and the children run from the burning cabin. They watch as the flames consume it. The Shadow Man screams echoing through the forest. The town of Willow Creek was saved, but the shadows would always linger in the hearts of its people. The town as the first light of dawn breaks. Parents hold their children tightly, grateful but wary. Sheriff Carter and Deputy Maria stand together, exhausted but relieved. Sheriff Carter, we did it. They're safe. Deputy Maria, for now, but we need to be ready, in case he ever comes back.